Track 9.
I'm Martin Miller, and this is today's chat with KRX Radio News. I thought this would be a good time to talk about helping teenagers to shape a healthy attitude about weight, nutrition, and body image. So we're joined now by Carol Knight. She's a columnist with Real Girls magazine and the author of Talking About What is Real.
Thank you for inviting me.
Also joining us is Danny Messel. She's one of our regular contributors. She's a mom of 3 girls and a fitness instructor. Danny's here in Fort City along with Karen Kang. She's a licensed social worker and founder of a non-profit organization. Welcome to you all. So, Carol, I'm going to start with you. As an advice columnist, how many questions do you generally get to do with things like weight and body image? How do I look?
Wow, I'd say almost half of them. I mean, it's extraordinary. And a lot of questions are about friendships, boys and parents. But after that, it's really body. It's weight. It's puberty. It's skin.
Has that changed over the years?
Unfortunately, no. I think girls have always worried more than they really should, especially about their weight. But of course, what has changed in the last 20 years and even 30 years is that childhood obesity has more than doubled. And let me get this right. Childhood obesity has more than doubled in children and quadrupled in adolescents in the past 30 years. While we worry about the statistics and we don't want the kids' self esteem to suffer, but we also don't want the child's health to suffer either.
Danny, you're a fitness instructor. I know this is a concern of yours as well, which is partly why you started your business. What's the main concern that your clients have?
Just getting healthy and getting on the right track. Many kids don't have a place where they can work with someone they trust on these health and body image issues. My center is free to teenagers. If they come in with an adult, they don't have to pay. And even if they don't come in with an adult, I will still accept them. I feel that's the way young people can develop healthy habits, as long as you know there are classes that are kid friendly.
Really? Why? What motivated you? Is it because that was just the way you grew up?
Because dance saved my life.
Saved your life? How? Tell me.
I mean, we, the kids, we have a tendency to be weight conscious. What we didn't have was weight knowledge. What do we do about it? You know? And exercise, they don't teach you a lot of that. But when I was growing up, they didn't talk about those things. So I did it with my mother and grandmother, and we always did it together. And I get on the front and dance off, but that's what I like to do. So I never forgot that because I struggled with my weight growing up. And if it wasn't for my mother and grandmother taking me to work out with them, I don't know where I'd be.
That's awesome, Danny. What about you, Karen? Your non-profit organization is called Eating Up?
Right.
So I've 2 questions for you. The same question I ask the other ladies, which is what's the most common question you get?
The answer to the first question is the most common question I get.
How do I help my daughter to be healthy, maybe even lose weight, without messing her up? I'll start with you on this one. This whole question of what to say. You know, it's a common thing that girls will say, "Am I fat?" Or "Do these pants make me look fat?" And what's the answer to that? I think a lot of parents' instinct is to say, no matter what the truth is, "Oh no."
Right, that is parents' instinct. We want to make our kids feel good, so we want to reassure them. The problem with that is she knows you're lying. She already knows she has a problem, and she's coming to you for help, support, and guidance. And if she doesn't have a problem and she still continues to ask whether she's fat, or she puts down her body, there's something else going on, and she needs to have a conversation. So you actually need to talk about this as you would talk about anything, as you would talk about alcohol or drugs or bullying. So you need to ask questions.
And what would you say? How would you start that off?
So I would say to my daughter, tell me what's going on. Tell me what you're wondering. Tell me why you think this. I would put my judgment, fear, and shame aside. Many of us, if we have struggled ourselves, or just simply because we live in this culture that makes fat this shameful, and we listen to what they say, and then we empathize. That must be so hard that you're feeling that way. How can I support you?
Carol, I think you're also a fan of this too. I know you wrote a column about raising concerns about the fact that too many parents are actually ignoring weight issues among their kids. Talk a little bit about your perspective on this.
Well, some parents are a little bit in denial about it. There are parents who don't seem to be as aware as we wish they would be that they've got a toddler or a 5-year old who is already got a big old weight problem that is not going to be easy for that boy or that girl to navigate for the rest of their days.
So, what is your advice?
I feel that when a kid is at risk with weight, it's not just appearance. It becomes a health concern. You're at greater risk for diabetes, for cardiovascular troubles. So we want to be open eyed, clear eyed, and always compassionate, kind, sensitive, and respectful. But you know, there are parents out there who are not supportive and who are not as loving as we wish.
Okay, all right, Karen. Final thought from you. You also have some words of wisdom about how to talk about food, correct? Tell us about that.
Yes, yes. I mean, I agree with everything Carol just said. I mean, weight does not determine health. Health determines health. And so we want to focus on health. We don't want to put our kids on a diet because diet is all about deprivation. And deprivation makes us want to eat something more.
Okay, thank you, everyone.